It really doesn't matter if you believe in a God or if you don't. We all are born with the illusion of free will. In fact, I can feel the illusion right now. You can turn up this video and go make yourself a sandwich if you want. You can raise up your right hand and nothing is stopping you. You seem to have free will. And in a sense, you do have free will. Let's get things straight. If we are talking about the social free will, then I definitely have free will. No doubt about that. Nobody's stopping me from going right now to the store. You can do whatever you want. Now, a completely different thing is determination. For example, you can say, I don't have the free will to stop smoking. This sentence, however, is wrong. You do have the freedom to do it, and very probably you have the will too. But you do not have the determination to do it. Most probably, you have heard the cliché, whether you think you can or you can't, you are right. This phrase was coined by Henry Ford, and it is an extremely nice motivational punchline. But it is completely false. As a psychologist, I have seen people that truly do want to stop drinking, or they do want to start doing exercise. They just can't seem to bring themselves to do it. You can call this determination, or maybe even motivation, but it is not free will. If it was free will, we would be able to do what we wanted. This is, of course, not the norm. But I am not talking about determination. We're talking about free will. Think of it this way. Which is the organ that tells the rest of your body what to do? I'll give you a hint. It is the same organ that you use for your thoughts, your planning, the decision making, your memory, and it is the same organ you use to control your heartbeat and your breathing. You probably guessed right. It is your brain. Now, the thing with the brain is that it is so complex that we're just beginning to understand how it works. But we know this much. Pretty much everything you are is contained inside your skull. This could take us into a deep philosophical argument about how we could lose our own identity if we lose every single memory we have. But that is something you will figure out on your own. So, back to the brain. Let's explain a behavior in the simplest form possible. Are you following? Pull out your tongue. Do it slowly. Really. Nobody's watching. Pull out your tongue. Now, did you do it? Did you actually do it? Yes? No? It really doesn't matter. Let's say you did pull out your tongue. Why did you do it? What brought you to compel to my direction? Well, first of all, you had to receive information from outside. In this case, from a YouTube video. The information went through your senses. It went through your ears and your eyes and went into your brain. Inside your brain, several very complex processes took place. These processes, now this is a key part, these processes based on genetics and previous learning determined that it was a good idea to follow the directions and pull out your tongue. And so your brain ordered your tongue to stick out. What if you decided not to pull out your tongue? It really doesn't matter. The same thing happened in your brain. The only difference was that because of different genetics and because of different experiences, your brain decided it was a better idea not to pull your tongue out. You might argue at this point that this doesn't prove that we don't have free will. You might say that this only adds to the point that our brains and our senses are working correctly. Sure. Now, think of this. This is a neuron. Kinda. Neurons communicate by two different methods. One of them is by electricity. Electrical impulses run through the axon of a neuron and transmit information to another neuron. Another method is the chemical method. Using neurotransmitters, the neuron communicates with other neurons. The complex networks of neurons constantly communicating creates every single thing we do, think, or believe. So, when or why does a neuron communicate? Well, the answer is very complicated indeed. Basically, we can say that a neuron will communicate according to the input it has received from another cell. A neuron in the retina, for example, will fire or not fire according to the information it receives from a rod or a cone. What I want to get to is that neurons are slaves. Neurons are slaves to different things. They do not act on their own. They will behave according to the way they are structured, the information they receive, etc. Nothing comes out spontaneously. Here is the real deal. If you think a thought, where did that thought come from? Think of it this way. There is absolutely nothing you can think of or imagine that is not a recollection of things you already know. Even the weirdest dreams are made up of matter, colors, and different natural things. On this note, you cannot imagine a new color that could not be made of a mixture of other colors. You cannot invent a color. Try it. Think of a new color. Go ahead, picture it in your mind. Every single color that comes to your mind has probably already received a name. This is a very cool experiment. You cannot create a new color in your imagination. Ever since you're a small fetus, on the first weeks of pregnancy, your brain has already begun to function. It creates itself. First, it is the slave of DNA. Afterwards, it will be the slave of the information it receives. The human being does not possess an organ that tells the brain what to do. Even if it did, it would bring the obvious question, what tells this new organ what to do? And this would bring the paradox of infinite regression. A small child can only do what his or her brain tells the child to do. And you are not different from the child in any sense. Everything you do is mediated by your brain. Every single thing you do is a result of neurons communicating. And, as we have already seen, neurons are slaves. Therefore, you are a slave of your own brain. Sounds harsh, doesn't it? It needn't be. This doesn't make you any less of a person.